let's just think about wave season. Let's think about getting on that cruise where the sun is shining and really making the most out of this. But something that I wanted to mention too before we dive into everything that we have going on today is that if wave season has been feeling super, super, super busy for you and you are drowning in work, this is a great session for you, but it's also a great session for those of you who maybe this is your first wave season. Maybe this isn't even your first one. You've been doing this for a while and it just feels like this is a weirder season in general. It's tougher, things aren't as busy as you would think it is. This is also going to be a great session for you. So, we have a lot to go through. But do know, we try and make this fun as much as we can. We try to make learning fun. But my name is Bonnie. I'm an education coordinator over here at Travefy, and I'm joined by someone you might recognize. Stephanie, I'll let you introduce yourself really quick.
Yeah, hello everybody. Um, yeah, excited to be here for the wave season. I know this is Bonnie's favorite thing, the wave season webinar. So I was like, Bonnie, let's let you take it away for this first webinar of 2026. And it has been interesting to hear how wave season, everyone should put in the chat, by the way, how wave season is going for you so far. Put a one if you're thinking like, I am busy selling like crazy, or two, kind of a little bit of the opposite where you're like, I don't know. I'm not really getting, it's taking a little bit longer because I know there's just such a mix in there. Yeah, I see a ton of mix. Well, I'm
Oh,
excited
yeah.
for this because I have seen what Bonnie's about to share, and I think this is going to help. Whichever, if you choose one or two, this is going to be helpful. So
Gonna be helpful.
excited.
So, yeah, I'm glad that you asked that because I don't know if you guys can see the chat, but I'm seeing ones and twos. So, you guys are not alone no matter what side of this party that you're on. And really, we have some time left in wave season. We have enough time to turn things around. And so, we're going to go through a lot of different things. So, let me get to our agenda really quick. By the way, see, I'm just remembering everything. I'm getting back into my groove, everyone. So deal with me a little bit. We do have Q and A turned on. So if you have questions during the session, look for that Q and A button. If you're on desktop, it's usually at the bottom. Put your questions in there. We have Annie from our support as well as Jonathan from our support team who are amazing. They are our quickest typers. So we'll try and answer everything we can. If you, for whatever reason, don't get your question answered, go ahead. You can chat us in your account or you can always email us at support@travefy.com. But first things first, I always want to start off with a quick introduction to Travefy, mainly because I know there's probably a few of you who are maybe this is your first time being on a Travefy webinar. Maybe you've been a user for a while. Maybe this is your first time even hearing about Travefy and you just saw a webinar. I'm excited to show you around. But then we're going to dive into those seven simple strategies when it comes to how we can turn this season on its head. And so the way that I have this laid out, because we have so much content to go over, is I'm going to present us a challenge. We're going to walk through that challenge, try and understand it the best that we can, and then we'll dive into some different solution alternatives that you can look at implementing into your own workflow. So there might be one or two challenges that really, really speak to you. And so for those, I would say start writing down some notes, but we are recording if you ever want to just rewatch this later on. But then at the end, I'll hand out some free templates that I have ready for you guys. We'll do some Q&A, and then of course, because you are attending, we are doing a cruise line gift card giveaway for $100. So you can pocket that for yourself. You can hand it to your most loyal traveler. However you may want to use that, we will follow up with you at the end. But all right. Let's, stretch out a little bit. Let's get into the groove of things once more. Travefy, we started over 10 years ago, back in 2012, which is crazy to say, but since then we've really grown and adapted with you. And I think adaptation is so huge for the travel industry because we get so many things thrown at us that just are not within our control. Let's face it, none of this is in our control. And so with that, we have decided, we really wanted to help make sure advisors had the resources, had the tools to grow and expand their businesses, no matter what part of your career that you're at. Whether you're in this and you've been in it for 10 plus years, if you're just starting a few years in, we really wanted to make sure that what we provided to you was a solution and to see us as a partner. And so I love pulling this graph up really quick to show you guys because I think this better visualizes for us how all of these tools work together. It's not that one works for this and one works for that and they don't communicate with each other. Travefy is the platform where these features talk to each other to make sure that you have the room and flexibility, and most importantly, the time to focus on your business growth and health. So we started out as an itinerary proposal builder. Back in COVID, we were told that, hey, we need ways to get travelers into our system. We need ways to get in front of leads. That's where our websites and landing pages came out. And I love telling that story because it's one of my favorite features. But 2025, our huge focus was CRM. We released email integration, invoicing, commission. We also have that form builder with credit card authorizations, which are PCI compliant. But you truly need all of this in order to be able to grow and be sustainable. And so they all talk to each other, and we're going to take a look at that more when we get into our different challenges. But let's go ahead. I want to do one little shout out to our customer support. One thing that we always say over here is support is a feature. And as I was telling some of you beforehand, just came back from a conference. I tell you, every time I come from a conference, people always come up there saying, you know what, I love this and this about Travefy. One of the common things is that the support is amazing. You might have the best solution out there, but if you don't know how to use it, don't know how to get value out of the system, it kind of loses its value. And so we've always made sure that our customer support is top tier. So if you need any help, of course, we have Q and A open right now, so you can get a little taste of how amazing our support team is. But we do one-on-ones. We have amazing trainers, Eric and Amy. We do webinars like this all the time, tutorials, certification programs. Let us know how we can help you out. And I promise we can probably give you 2 to 5 different resources to get you guys going. But all right, I've been saying this a lot. Let's dive on in. I love my puns, especially with wave season. This is such a fun time, but also can be super, super overwhelming. Again, just matters where you are at in this. And so my first challenge that I'm going to be talking to you guys about today is really competing with the speed and ease at which travelers can access cruise information directly from suppliers. Oftentimes, our biggest competitor is the traveler. How many of you do agree with that? Like, how many times are we competing with just the internet itself, with travelers wanting to do it themselves? That is just always something that is coming up. And I see so many yeses coming in. I have the chat open on this other side. So if you see me looking away, I promise I'm just looking at the chat. But that is something that we have to keep in mind. Now, here's the great news. You do not need to beat the speed of the internet, but I always think it's something we want to keep in the back of our heads. We still need to be quick about getting our proposals, our quotes back to these travelers. And so I always like to take this analogy. Let's say that you're going to a restaurant. It's almost lunchtime here in Nebraska. You go to a restaurant, you sit down, you order, and you wait. There's not a set time at which you expect that food by, and that time's always going to differ depending on what restaurant you're going to, what the chain you're going to. And it's kind of the same thing for travelers. They know that when they're coming to you, they don't expect it just like that. There's a little waiting period, but it's important for us to stay ahead of that. The other thing that I'm going to layer on, this is already one big challenge. The other thing I'm layering on is branding. One, if they're coming to you, they want to see the difference between doing it themselves and going through you. And one of the biggest differences that we can go about is branding, making sure that no matter what supplier we are working with, our branding is what they see. Let's take Royal Caribbean, for example, just because they are huge. If I'm a traveler and I go and book through Royal Caribbean, I'll get a Royal Caribbean itinerary. Great. If I'm booking through an advisor, I'm not truly expecting a Royal Caribbean itinerary that I could get myself. I'm kind of expecting something more than that. And so even just having your branding be at the top can make that huge impact and start to show them the value of what you are offering. And it can be really, really easy. That's the best part about all of this. And so first strategy when it comes to overcoming that challenge, if that challenge is speaking to you, lean on your integrations. So for my busy folks who are thinking, oh my gosh, so you're telling me I have to create my own itineraries with my own branding and not use my supplier's itineraries? Not quite. Integrations is that solution. And for my friends who are having a slower season, integrations is that perfect solution for you as well. Because if you are doing it manually, you just leave more room for human error. That's what makes us human. We're going to put in something wrong at some point. Integrations is that nice merriment between our suppliers and between us. So you're saving time on the manual work. Travefy offers 200 plus cruise line integrations in the system. And when you think about how much more time you're going to have on your hands, where can you focus that time and attention in other parts of your business that need it? So I'm going to be doing this where I'm talking about the busy side of things and maybe the slower side of things. For my busy friends, if it takes you 30 minutes to create a standard itinerary, and maybe with Travefy's integrations, it takes you just 5 minutes, you've got 25 minutes to focus maybe on those travelers that need a little bit more hand holding that you haven't been able to give your full attention because you are just so dang busy. For friends who are a little bit slower, what personalization, what branding opportunities, what marketing efforts can you actually focus on now because you have all of this done for you? It's really allowing you to move more quickly and allowing integrations to take care of all of that general works to present that more polished branded itinerary and proposal. And so, if you've been on my webinars before, you know that I don't love to live in slides, and I hope you don't either, because I'm going to show you a little bit of how this works in Travefy for some of these examples. And so, I'm going to slide on over. This is what your Travefy account looks like. This is our trips page. This is where we're going to spend a majority of our time today. And I do have some material ready for you guys. I have two proposals in here, but I'm going to show you just how quick using supplier integrations can save you time. I'm going to select Add New. I'm just going to select Proposal, and I'm going to create a brand new one with you guys. Now, this is something that, if you want to see it built from scratch, we actually came out with what's called a beginner's playlist. I go through the tutorial from the very beginning on cruise itineraries, all inclusive, and FITs. So if you have enough time to throw in the beginner's playlist, I'll let you do that. She's looking around. She's like, what? I surprise her every time I can. But here we go. We're in our trip. I'm going to select that new event option. We're going down to the cruise option. We're all about cruises. For my friends who are busy, you may, and honestly, for those of you who have been in the industry for a while, you may find that search bar right here to be your best friend because you already know what specific sailing you want. For my friends who maybe aren't sure about what sailing would be a good fit for your travelers, these three filters are amazing. Let's go ahead with the story. I'm going to say that you guys told me that you are ready to go on a cruise. You've seen some great deals come through, and you want to take the cruise after school is out. Second half of May. Great. I have 2,500 results to go through with you. Departing port, though, we're going to do Port Canaveral. That's your closest port. It's easy to get to for you. 62 results. Cruise line. Easy enough. This is where I would lean into your experience. What cruise line would be the best fit for that traveler after having talked to them, after looking through their information in that intake form? We now have 12 results. Maybe they really prioritize newer ships. Maybe that would be Star of the Seas. Maybe they don't really care about their ship all that much, but they care mostly about ports. This is what you would want to go through when looking through these results. And so for me, I know that you guys want the best of the best, the newest of the new. 8 days long, starts May 24th, lines up perfectly with everything that you've told me. This is the power of personalization, and I'm going to be repeating that throughout our time together, but that is your superpower as an advisor, is your power of personalization, because big name suppliers just can't do that. And so, left-hand side, we have all these sections of information that we can choose to have pull over. Advisors I talk to, and you might agree with me as well, you don't typically offer all of the accommodations. I'm going to deselect sections, and you can always pick and choose from there. I'll just pick these three because they're in front of me, but you can choose what comes over and what doesn't come over. From there, just import it over. But again, integrations is something that can help you move more quickly, that takes care of that general information so you don't have to upload photos, so you don't have to upload links and deck plans. All of this is taken care of by the integration itself. I'm going to preview this really, really quick. You can always see what this looks like on mobile. That's another huge thing. Make sure that the format that you're giving your clients is accessible on different formats like mobile, desktop, iPad, tablet. Make sure it's interactive. This is also really big. If you are in the quote process, you want this to be what we call sticky. The more that they touch this, the more that they interact with it, the more sticky it is in their minds, and it's at the forefront. It's not something that they'll push off. And so, again, coming back to our time, we'll say we have a jar, and this is our time for the day that we can spend on our jobs. We just took out a little bit of time using the integration. So how are we going to use the rest of it? Personalization, branding, talking to our travelers, networking, going on fam trips, learning. Now that's up to you versus spending time on the general, which can be taken care of through these integrations. As you can tell, I am a big, big proponent when it comes to leaning on suppliers, but in the right way. Here's another one. Overcoming decision fatigue. We saw how we can quickly pull together our proposals now, but now we have to face our travelers. Once again, our travelers are really our competitor as well as our biggest, worry when it comes to this. So put in the chat, are you familiar with the term decision fatigue? Just yes, no, or maybe. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, Kelly says yes, yes in all caps from someone else. I see a no here and there, definitely. I see a few maybes, a little. Don't worry, I have Google's definition pulled up right for you. Decision fatigue is the mental exhaustion from making too many choices, leading to worse decision quality, procrastination, guilty, impulsivity, or complete avoidance of decisions as the day progresses, affecting everything from what to eat to major life choices. How many of us at the end of the day, we've made so many decisions and then someone says, where do you want to eat? You know what? I just cannot even tell you. I don't care. You know what? Maybe we'll just eat at home. But that is what our travelers face. Our travelers are us. I see someone said that's definitely me. Susan says, what's for dinner? Yes, exactly. I don't know. I don't care. I'm not going to make that decision. It happens because each decision throughout the day drains mental energy. But that best part, it can be managed by simplifying choices. So that sounds pretty easy, but what exactly does that mean? Well, I'll tell you a little bit about what that looks like in Travefy. Travefy created a decision feature back at the end of 2024, beginning of 2025. And we did a lot of research into decision fatigue. And we found that by simplifying decisions, as Google said, that makes all the difference. And we found specifically 3 or fewer decisions at a time can make a world of difference between procrastination, putting it off, and actually selecting an option. And so for Travefy's decision feature, we only let you put in up to 3. But we know that with a trip, you're probably going to have more options sent to them. But underline, I should have underlined this, at a time. Sending just 3 as a group at a time can help them. And so another one that I would say during this decision-making process, maybe you're already using decisions in Travefy, or maybe you already have a similar setup. Another one that can help them significantly is personalization. Power personalization, everyone. Include maybe 1 to 2 sentences on why an option would be a good fit for them. I think that just goes above and beyond what I would expect, especially if I were to book things on my own. Royal Caribbean, Princess, I pick on Royal Caribbean because I'm going on a cruise with them. But, Princess, these big cruise lines don't have the time to do that. They don't have time to sit down, go on these consultation calls, work through those forms that they submitted over to you. But you do. You can say, hey, we've chatted really briefly. I know you prioritize the cabins and the food. This option right here, even though it's slightly above the others, would be an amazing fit for you. You can do that for just one of those options, but if you're a little, you have more time on your hands, it might be worth doing it for all 3 options that you are offering to them. So that goes back to what side of the season that you're on. And it also is going to help cut down on the back and forth. Think about next step resources as part of this workflow. Do you have family members or friends, I would assume, that you could make as guinea pigs. Send them your decisions. Say, you know what, can you run through this? I'm not going to tell you how to do anything. Run through it. Tell me where you get stuck. And if 2 or more of them say, hey, I get stuck here, I would have questions at this point, that can be a signal to you to figure out, how can I make that a little bit smoother? Is it the fact that once they make a selection, they don't know what the next step is? Do I need to communicate that better with them somehow? Well, I'll show you how we do that in Travefy. So I'm going to slide on over. And again, we have some tutorial videos if you want to see how it's done, but I also am making sure I'm going through this as quick as possible so we have time for Q&A. But I want to show you what a full decision looks like. Big things you might notice. Your brand would be at the top. They are not seeing any cruise line branding. We are making sure that you are front facing on this. We also try to hide our name from your travelers as well, so they only really remember you. But how easy is it? Because it's all in the same format, even though it's three different cruise line companies, it's all in the same format. We have prices, we can compare it easily, we can scan through, and we have a nice advisor summary on that more expensive option that tells me, you know what? One, I would not get this from these big name brands myself. Two, you're the expert in here. You're positioning yourself as the expert. And three, if I wanted to, I can always go in, I can view these details a little bit further, click into it, interact with it. Again, think of the stickiness of what you are sending to your travelers. What's amazing though is that they can select an option, they can confirm their selection, and if there are any forms that you want to have them fill out afterwards, they can go in and they can fill that out when they want to. Now, something fun that we found out, here's a little guessing game for those of you who have been users with us for a while. How many forms do you think you can attach to a decision? This is one that I just learned about, I think last week. Uh, Feel free to put your guesses in. I will tell you right now. Oh, Mia, 5. And Mia would probably know. She is one of our amazing brand ambassadors. 10, Anna says, or Anna, sorry if I said your name wrong. Keisha, hello, Keisha. It's great to see you. I see someone got it. Hold on. Lori got it right. Unlimited. You can put as many forms onto a decision as you want. The limit does not exist. So, just a little fun fact for you if you are someone who needs a lot of forms filled out, really great for groups. But all right, that's a little about how decisions we can simplify that, we can overcome decision fatigue with our travelers, we can keep them moving because we do not want to stretch out that quote to decision making process because more than likely, I'm going to go back to that last slide. More than likely, if that is drawn out, if they are confused, if it is too many options all at once, they're going to procrastinate it and maybe put it off completely. But all right, I hope you guys are ready, buckled up, ready for challenge number 3. How do we now maintain momentum once a selection is made while seamlessly adding booking details? Guys, I am a traveler for the first time with a cruise. I already said their name, so it's not that this is personal for Royal Caribbean by any means, but I'm going on a bachelorette cruise with some girlfriends this coming week. And, something I found funny, which I think is an amazing opportunity for you to show some value to your travelers, is that we book shore excursions. We've booked, drink packages. I go to check in, look at my app, none of that shows on my cruise line app. And I go in and I start digging around a little bit further and thinking, okay, did I do something wrong? And I spend a good 10 minutes trying to figure this out, only to find, oh, hey, if you don't see your reservations on your mobile app, your mobile itinerary through this cruise line, that's okay. That's normal. We'll have everything ready for you the day of. It just doesn't show up a lot of times. What? What? Are you kidding me? Is this normal for every cruise line, or maybe this is just like a me thing? Either way, you have the opportunity to show them, hey, whenever you book something with me, I immediately add that to your itinerary. I immediately add that to your proposal. And the best part, it updates automatically for you. So it's not that they have to go out, they need to get a new invite sent to them. You can continually add things in. And so another way that you can look at this is you can utilize AI to help you with this. AI is a great tool when you're looking at saving time. It can be kind of that scary term where it's like, oh my gosh, I hear so many things about it. I know I need to keep up with it. Being in the travel industry, we have to keep up with trends. Oh, I see Michael said magic, exclamation point. Yes. And so the way that it works in Travefy, at least, is you would upload a document or you can copy and paste information and it loads it all in for you all at once. Of course, you can always customize it here and there if you would like, but this has been such a time saver. I cannot tell you how great it is. We just did a How I Travefy video. I just published it, I believe, yesterday. If you want to see how Lisa does it in her own workflow, if this is a fact that interests you, but definitely take a look at making sure you're utilizing these new tools that are coming out. Don't be scared. You guys are trendsetters. And so, one, utilize AI. You can return your trips quicker to your travelers so they don't have those questions of, I booked this with you. I am not seeing this. And if you don't have enough time, totally get it. That's why Smart Import works so amazing. It also can help you respond quicker. And this is great for those of you who are busy, maybe those of you who are having that slower season. Go ahead, have it create 3 saved messages. This is something that you could do with any AI tool. This isn't specifically in Travefy, but we use ChatGPT for a lot of things. You can always do that. Have it create 3 saved messages. You can have those stored in your library. You can implement them into your task list or workflows in Travefy too. But think of those 3 messages that you always send to your cruise travelers. Maybe it's that check-in reminder. Maybe it is final payment reminder and, a packing list. These are 3 things that you always send. So why not have that ready for each of your travelers? So again, you are wiser about how you are spending your day. But now, to save us some time, I did do a screen recording ahead of time so you can see how this all works. But you would simply just go into your trip builder like we were before, new event, you select Smart Import. You can choose to copy and paste info in, or you can upload those documents. Shore excursions are great if you're doing river cruises. I know those are trending really high. Go ahead, upload those documents if you would like. It brings over all the information. Big thing, just make sure it has some dates on there, but it'll give you a summary. This is actually for a full itinerary. It's not cruise themed, I'm sorry, but you can also bring in any photos, images that are included in that PDF. So maybe think of those mom and pop tour operators that you love working with that always make such an amazing impression on your travelers. Builds it all out for you. If you preview it, looks just like it would if you used an integration or even built it manually yourself. But such an amazing tool. If you were looking for one thing to do today, try this one out because it takes you so little time. But all right, we're moving pretty okay. I hope we're feeling okay. But next challenge is standing out and impressing clients even when those times and resources are limited. So just as a reminder, we talked about proposals. How do we put those together quickly? How do we overcome decision fatigue? How do we add documents in when things are booked? And now, how do we stand out when we don't have enough time in our day to begin with? Well, one, this is a personal one. I would say add some suggestions in. This keeps the experience low pressure. You can add in what we call information sections in Travefy. You can customize those titles and just have them be like optional add-ons, optional tours, optional shore excursions, optional anything. And just the word optional can take the pressure off. Just because, with any big supplier, they're always pushing their discounts, their different deals, especially during wave season. But by you saying, hey, just want to let you know, I added in some optional add-ons if you wanted to take a look. Feel free to book it if you'd like on your own, or I can always help you out, but no pressure. You can do that with so many of our different tour integrations. It also, I think, adds value after that booking is done. It's not that you have to do this the moment the booking is complete. Maybe you do this 1 month afterwards just to keep the momentum going, to keep this in the forefront of their mind. They're excited about this, and we should continue that excitement. Plus, that positions you as that thoughtful expert because you're already thinking ahead about what would make your trip even better. Again, power of personalization, everyone. That is your superpower, and it creates those organic upsell opportunities. It doesn't feel car salesman-y. You're just saying, hey, no pressure, but take a look if you want. I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to shout out 2 of our integrations who some of you may or may not be familiar with. It is Project Expedition as well as Viator. When you go and set up their integrations in your account, whenever you pull in their tour, you just put their tour line, you put in what tour you're looking for, it brings over your commission booking link. And so this is something that you can add in at any time to your itineraries, proposals, and they can go in themselves, take a look through all of that information, and book through that booking link, which gets you that commission automatically. It leaves it up to them. And again, we're taking the pressure off of them having to do it. It's just saying, hey, this is a nice one. I've been on it before. Feel free to book it if you would like, and I can answer any questions if you have any. And so if you guys want to see how to do that later on, put that in the Q&A, and I know that we are going to go through that. But all right, we're moving okay, I think. Feel free, Stephanie can yell at me if we need to slow down or if we need to speed up. But one that, you guys, this is a painful one. None of us want to do it. It's numbers, it's making this a painless experience, but creating that painless payment process for both your travelers and yourself. Again, I'm going on a cruise. I don't know why this bachelorette, this bride decided not to go with a travel advisor, but I'm telling you right now, I am having a sit down chat with her because this is crazy. You have to get your phone out. Maybe this is probably just new to me, but you have to call in order to make payments. And that's just something I don't want to do. We have so many different payment deadlines for different things because we've booked so many different things. Again, this would be amazing for you to show your absolute value because they're already thinking, you know what? I don't want to do any of this myself. They already have that mindset. So show them. Plus, if they talk to their friends, their families who do it themselves, they can say, hey, why the heck are you doing it this way? Use my travel advisor. Use them. And so I'll tell you a little bit about it. It doesn't have to be a super painful process for you either, but three things I would keep at top of mind: clear timelines, reminders, and easy to follow payment details, which an invoice page can do, as well as if you partner it with your automations. That can result in fewer missed payments, which just makes for a smoother process overall, less friction, less back and forth. Because you could do amazing all the way up to this point, and then something just goes wrong. It feels like more work for them, and suddenly they aren't happy. And that's just as what is looming over their entire trip. So, less back and forth with clients. We can make sure that this saves us time as well. And it's a smoother, more professional experience. One thing that I would challenge you to think about is if you are using multiple suppliers, maybe you have that cruise line, maybe you have different shore excursions, maybe you have this and that, maybe hotels through someone else completely, you're doing flights for them. Those are different suppliers. They might have different payment deadlines that they need full payment by. And so you can create custom payment schedules that fit everything in and make it so that they don't have to try and find each deadline for each thing that they've booked through you and they don't miss anything. And so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to show you really, really quick what this can look like because I'm telling you, it is really quick. I'm going to go back out to our trips. This is our little trips dashboard, if you will. We can add on additional items if we would like. When I select Add New, I'm going to select that invoice option, just like that. And what is amazing, my friends, is if you are adding pricing into your proposals, into your itineraries, what you can do is select which one they decided to go with. I'm just going to go with the princess option. Select auto populate, and all of the events that have a price attached to it come over automatically and total up automatically. Not to say that if you need to increase the quantity for anything, you can absolutely do that. It adjusts automatically for you. You can add in more descriptions if you'd like. If you want to add in your commissions at this point, you can do that. If you don't want to show the line by line items, if you don't want to have that discussion with them, totally get it. You can choose to only display the total. But the thing down here, I think this is such a huge lift off from your travelers, is introducing that payment schedule where you can say, deposits here, full payments due here, middle payments in between. That can be something that you customize and you work with your travelers on. And again, that is something they will not get from doing it themselves. And so I want to show you really quick, at least what this would look like. Again, keeping in mind that we didn't really do all that much because we auto-populated. But this is what an invoice page would be. Again, your information up at the very top. They can see those line by line items as well as the payment schedule. This updates automatically with each authorization that they make for it. And so if they want to use a different card as well, they have that customization. If they want to use their Chase card for this, if they want to use their Amex card for that, great. They can do that at any point. For the states, at least, I know tax refunds are coming back in. Maybe they have a little bit extra that they weren't expecting, and they're like, hey, you know what? Let's pay off as much as we can. They can also come in here and choose to put in a custom amount towards their trip. They don't have to call you up and be like, hey, can you do this for me? If you're busy, if this has been the busiest season you've ever experienced, you might not have time for that. Or even worse, you might forget about it, even though you said you would do it. That would be awful. So they can come in here, do it themselves. For my friends who, again, are having that slower season, this is such a great service to offer to your travelers. And again, auto population and just a few little clicks here and there. But just take that lift off from them. We're getting to the end though. Do not worry. Not last one. I think I have two more. Leaving a positive, lasting impression now in order to create your loyal repeat clients. This is a challenge for you if you have done amazing up until this point, but you don't really get any referral travelers from your clients. This is something that I would say focus in on a little bit more. More than likely, you send them off on their trip, and maybe you just don't have as much aftercare with them, or maybe something goes wrong on their trip. A lot of things when they are on their trip are just out of your control. We know that. flights are crazy. That winter storm that flew through in New York airport probably hasn't had a flight go out in days. That is something that you don't have control over, but how we respond is important. And some things that can help you with this is having your system set up and showing up. So, one, keeping that excitement going. We already talked about that a little bit in some previous challenges. Keeping the excitement going, though, provide peace of mind while traveling. That is where trip plans is your biggest and best friend. Travelers love trip plans. It's so funny. I manage our YouTube channel and I saw a comment from someone that said, "This is an amazing app. Great job, so and so." And I'm pretty sure it was a traveler believing that it was their travel advisor's app that they had created. And by all means, please do the same for your travelers. Say, hey, I have this app that we created just for you to access everything that can help you when things out of control happen. Like flight alerts. You'll get flight alerts on there. If you happen to not have any Wi-Fi because you're on a cruise, but you still want to see everything, you want to be able to see your documents. Available offline is a mode that they can turn on. This is also a chat that relies on Wi-Fi. So if they have the Wi-Fi package on board, they can still chat back and forth with everyone. So it's a nice little bonus add-on that you can offer to your travelers and by all means take credit for. One that I think is also really great is making sure your travelers feel genuinely cared for, which I know each and every one of you do this, but just some ideas if you are wanting to look about pulling in some new ones is packing lists, automating a packing list a few days before. I don't know if Sandra, you're in here, and Sandra, you know which Sandra I'm talking about, Sandra Nolan, my best friend. She has an amazing tip where she will do that. She has a packing list that she automates maybe a week or two before the trip actually takes off. And it's actually a link to her Amazon storefront where travelers can go in and they can just pick and choose maybe what they want to purchase. And then she gets a little extra commission on the side. I think that's so helpful as a traveler to see what you would recommend, especially if maybe you're working with first time travelers saying, hey, again, no pressure. But if you want to see what I would recommend bringing on these trips, and this doesn't have to be for cruises specifically, go ahead, try it out. Oh, and you know what? Put in your favorite tip as well into the chat because I think we have all so many good ideas. Let's see what they are. But also reminders, check-ins, of course, automations and that trip plans app. Man, those two are a power duo. And last challenge, my friends, here's where we're at. Figuring out where to get started. We went through a lot of different challenges in honestly a pretty short amount of time. So where do I get started? I might get off this webinar. I might have really great ideas and plan, but my schedule's busy and I'm not going to be able to think about this until this evening. Oh my gosh, where do I even get started? So know your resources is your last strategy I would recommend doing. Whether that's with Travefy, whether that's with your host agency, whether that's with your suppliers, know your resources. And if you need a place to get started, you can always open a chat with us. You can email us, Travefy, or gosh, support@travefy.com. But we have resources like free certifications. One that I'll shout out is the one that we have with CLIA. That is cruise specific, and you get 10 CLIA credits once you complete it. An amazing, amazing program that you would absolutely learn so much about. But we also have so many features. So any software that you're using, make sure that you're getting as much value out of it as you can. And then one that I don't think is talked about enough, which you're already kind of doing just by joining us today on this webinar, is find your community. You're going to find expert resources, tips, and advice in so many pieces of your network, whether that is with your host agency. If it's in Facebook groups, I know there are so many amazing Facebook groups that are willing to share out this information. If you don't have a community, you're welcome to join Travefy's. It's just Travefy official group. There are so many things that get shared out. We have a brand ambassador program where I see them constantly creating material, sharing it out, doing one-on-one trainings with other advisors. Like, it is awesome. You are in a community that is the most welcoming, the most supporting. So know who you're surrounded by and just reach out. It's a big step, but introduce yourself, let them know who you are, what your goals are, and go from there. Now, speaking of resources, I want to try and make this part easy. I have some free templates. So the one on my left-hand side is going to be a landing page this is great. We didn't talk about landing pages, unfortunately, today, but this is great for marketing purposes or promoting a single cruise sailing. So take a look at that. If you are maybe having that slower season, marketing is going to be something you would want to look into just to get more sales in the door. However, you might have heard this before on some different educational webinars, is it costs a lot more time and effort and honestly money to get new leads. So really focus on your current customers. So regardless if you're super, super busy right now or you're having that slower season, prioritize your current clients always. And then think, do I need to prioritize marketing next? Or maybe do I need to prioritize the aftercare, my workflow, whatever that might be. And then on that right-hand side, if you want to see an amazing traveler interest form, this was created by Amanda LaCroix. She is a brand ambassador for Travefy. So many brand ambassadors have created new material recently for Marketplace. So if you haven't looked in there recently, check out the featured area. I can show that if anyone is unfamiliar with Marketplace. So many great free resources. We love free. So I'll go back to this slide if anyone did not have a chance to look at that. But just to review, we talked through a lot of different things. Feel free to take a screenshot of this, but we talked through 7 different strategies. Lean on your supplier integrations, turning that proposal time around and making sure it's branded to you, simplifying decisions so we can overcome decision fatigue, utilizing AI to save more time, but still showing up for our travelers, adding suggestions in that take the pressure off of them and not having it be super salesy, but still saying, hey, this would be an amazing add-on. Simplifying your payments, it's just a part of the travel business. How do we make this something that doesn't feel like we are just ripping our nails off? Showing up for our travelers all the way to the end, even afterwards, and then knowing your resources. Knowing your resources would be probably the first one if you don't already know them. And from there, you can branch out into those challenges that really spoke to you today. And so just a little thing about Travefy, we are a subscription service. We have all of those tools we talked about and more included in your subscription for $39 a month. You can always start your 10-day free trial. Those templates that I shared, you will want to have a Travefy account attached to it. You can always start a 10-day free trial to get access to them and begin customizing them just to see if it would be a good fit for you. We are always a big proponent on that, making sure that we would be a good fit for where you are and what your goals are for your business. And so I'll leave this QR code up for a little bit as well. Feel free, start that 10-day free trial. We have an amazing group of sales reps. So feel free, if you have a favorite sales rep that you worked with, let us know because that's always really fun. We are in the office in Lincoln. I think most of them are. One's in Omaha. But we always want to make sure, again, that if you have questions, we get them answered. We'll walk through it with you. And if you have a specific cruise booking that you're like, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start with this, they are excellent guides. Oh, I see Nicole said Mackenzie was great. I love that. We'll make sure to share that back with Mackenzie. That is awesome. But you guys, I think there's a really fun slide after this that maybe we want to get to. I'm happy to go back to any of these previous slides, by the way, for templates
Yeah,
and lists and what. Oh,
it's giveaway
giveaway
time.
time.
Let's do our giveaway. And then I have questions for you, Bonnie. Lots of them.
Oh,
All good ones. There's so many good ones, but I'm so excited for this. So
guys,
we
who
picked
is it going to
one.
be?
Bonnie, do you
You want
want
to
to share who
announce?
it is? I'll let you do
Oh,
it. I don't want to steal the shine.
all right. Well, drum roll, please. I know this is what we've all been waiting for. Oh, yes, that. Lakeisha Barnes is our big winner.
Woo!
Woo! So I will go ahead. We'll email you after this with details. But guys, do you like this part of the webinar? I would think we do. But if you
Oh
guys
yeah.
like to see gift cards or if you like swag bag giveaways more, like let us know what gets you excited for drawings because we want to hear about that.
Yeah. She replied, ah, that's so exciting.
Yes.
Oh, we will be in contact. That's so
We'll
cool.
we'll be in contact. Absolutely. Oh, I see
Yeah.
swag is awesome. I love the swag that we have, and we're always seeing new ones like quarter zips, maybe a hoodie every once in a while. Gift cards are always really great though.
I
But
know.
amazing. Okay, we have some time.
Are you ready for these?
Let's dig into some questions.
All right, I've locked in and we picked out a lot of the things that I was seeing. But since it's kind of timely because we were just talking about this, is going to Marketplace. Can you show one more time? How do you access Marketplace? Because a lot of people were asking about those like task lists and temp where they can just find stuff like that.
Absolutely, guys. Marketplace is such an amazing resource. I am going to slide on over back into our Travefy account. And it's handy. It has its own tab up at the top. So when you log in, no matter where you're at, if you are in your library, if you're in your contacts pages, whatever, go to your Marketplace tab. And I always like to say it's like your free online Etsy because these are all templates that have been created and shared by other Travefy users. Most of these are from other advisors, but we also have those who are consultants. We also have those who are tour operators that have created some amazing content. And so I'm going to go into our featured area. Let me refresh this just so it keeps up with everything. And guys, look at how much there is. If you're part of our newsletter, we actually shared these three, the weekly repeating task, task after booking a client, task up to booking a client. These were done by Holly. She's an amazing brand ambassador. Honestly, I think all of these ones are from brand ambassadors, but you can go through, take a look. Some of these are from past events as well. So all free for you to download and customize even further. And by all means, if you have a template that you'd love to share out, share the love.
Heck yeah. And I think every time Marketplace blows my mind when we go in there and just look at everything. And then there's all this new stuff always coming. And it's just really, really cool. I did also put in the chat, I did link the ones that Bonnie was sharing earlier. So you can go find those in there. But really quick, kind of on this a little bit, can you quickly show how does someone make a task list or their own like checklist, as someone mentioned? Like how do they make that? So if you weren't going to go into Marketplace and take a template and you just want to start and create your own, how do you do that?
Absolutely. So, great thing about this is that you can start from scratch if you'd like, or of course, those templates are always there for you. We'll say workflow and task list pretty interchangeably. So if you hear us say one or the other, we mean the same thing, honestly. But you would go into your library. This is your own personal content database of resources that you can reuse again and again. And when you're thinking about your workflow, when you're thinking about your task list, select new library item. It's under the administrative tab. Click task list. You would want to title it. So maybe we'll say this is our lead workflow. And this is specifically for cruises. So I'll have cruise as my label. This is how we just organize things in Travefy. And from there, you can either have a piece of paper out, write this down if that's how you think, or you can just start in right here. But truly think about what do you do for every kind of traveler when it comes to a cruise, when it comes to a lead. Maybe it's having a task that reminds you, hey, follow up with traveler. Maybe then it's an automation, sending a client intake form. Think of those types of things that is pretty generalized for a large group of travelers. Because once you have your task list, once you have your workflow created, you can easily add it to a trip that they're on. You can add it to their specific contact that they're on, and you can customize it further. But you really want your task list to be pretty generalized.
Mm-hmm.
So,
No,
good place
that's
to get
awesome.
started.
Yeah, it's so cool. Game changing when you use it, which is huge. Okay, Bonnie, I'm gonna take you over to invoices because there's a couple questions I have. One for invoices, can you change the currency?
Yes, you can. So this is the invoice that we just really quickly auto-populated, everyone. On the right-hand side, this is where you can put in whichever currency that you or your travelers are working in. So good question there. And you can have it be for different things. Maybe this is for USD, but then maybe this is for a tour operator who's, gosh, maybe Canadian. Canada's on my mind, guys. But
Yes.
yes, it's flexible for really whatever your needs are there.
That was actually the one they asked for. They're like, can we do Canadian? Yes.
Yes, yes,
Yes, you
my
can.
Canadian friends.
Yeah, it's so nice. Now, another one on the invoice is can you just quickly share? Because I did see a lot of questions come in, like once the invoice is filled out, does this pay the vendor, the supplier? So if you can just kind of walk through really quick, high level, how it works.
Yeah, happy to clarify on that point. So when you go and send this to your travelers, it's really them getting an authorization. So I'm going to preview this. I don't know if it will, oh man, I don't know if it'll let me since I'm in
Oh,
preview mode,
click on the.
but I'll just tell you anyway. They would put in their card details, very, very similar to a credit card authorization. I like to think of invoices, honestly, as credit card authorization 2.0 because it has so many more added benefits. But they would put in their card information, sign off to your terms and conditions as usual, authorize that to you. You yourself would get the authorization information. Nothing is being charged at that point because we wanted to give you full control over that information and when you want to book things with suppliers. And so you would go in, you would get their authorization information, you'd go ahead, book things with them. Once things are officially booked or charged, you can come into your authorization area, and this is where you will be able to update the status of each of their authorizations, whether it was paid, charged. I think there are two others that I'm blanking on right now, but that's a little bit about how it would work. They would authorize it to you, you would take that information, do about with it as you will, and then update that status so they can see it.
Yeah, and PCI compliant. It is the most safe,
Yes.
secure way to collect information. So that's the great thing too. Um,
Absolutely. And if they have questions on that, because, travelers have so many questions. If they have questions on security, go ahead, let us know. We have so many documentation items that we can send over that you can share out.
Yes, that's awesome. Also, side note, talking about clients, I have some travel agents in here that literally just booked me a cruise. So shout out to you all. I promise I won't be that client that asks a lot of questions, guys.
You're like,
It's so awesome. So very meta in here. I love it. But on that though, this is a really cool question. It's kind of like an advanced tip here, Bonnie, is are there ideas or methods to ask for clients for reviews or something after the trip? So after that trip happens, like, is there something that can be automated to ask for something like that?
yes. And I think that this is, again, such a great opportunity for you to bring in your personalization. So there's two routes that you could take. One, if you're busy right now, go ahead. Travefy has a feature for that. It's in your account settings. It's been a while since I've been in here. So give me a little bit of patience right now. This is the one. You can have this selected and it automatically sends a trip feedback form. It gives them a little emoji that they can go ahead and select, as well as a text box that they can leave their review in. That sends automatically 2 to 3 days after the trip is ended. Or you can do it yourself. So you can always turn this off and have it be part of your task list or your workflow in Travefy, where maybe you have your really customized feedback form. Maybe you include links to your Google business page. I know some advisors do that, but you can automate it as well, 2 to 3 days to send after that trip is taken. And since we're on this topic, this is one that I think was brought up once before in your podcast, Stephanie. When it comes to, checking in on your travelers, you can always set an automation for a trip invite to send up to a year after that trip is taken. Being like, hey, remember this trip that you took a year ago? I loved hearing how it went, and I would love to know if you have any plans that I can help with this coming year. Just something that you can do that you can set and forget, but brings about some large impact. So
Totally.
many different great ideas.
It does. And really quick, could you just show again how you got to this spot?
Absolutely. So, friends, you'll want to click your name up at the top right. Go into your account settings when you click your name. And then from there, go into your settings area, that last tab, and it should be the first checkbox. So you can just take a little look and
Perfect.
see if that'll work for you and your travelers. But this is a
Yeah.
great feature if you're super busy. For my friends who have more time on their hands, you could look at doing a really customized feedback form.
Yeah. Or you just create it once and then you set it in,
Set
forget,
it and forget
let it
it.
go. Yeah, just let it go. That's a nice thing. Now, okay, another question. This is a question I feel like we get a lot. And I know, especially if you are a new user and you're going to go into Travefy and go play around, you start to realize, like, how do I delete these trips? So, Bonnie, can you just quickly show how do you delete a trip out of your account, or how can you organize that up a little bit?
Yeah, well, let me go ahead. I'm glad someone asked this because I need to clean out my account from
Same.
all of the things that I have done. So let's take this test trip, for instance. If you want to delete the entire trip itself with everything included, whatever resources you have, you can click the three dots when you click into that trip and you can archive it, and then it'll give you the option to delete it. I'll show you that here soon. But if you are wanting to remove maybe an itinerary or proposal that they just decided not to go with, you will have the option to archive it. And that's going to be this little box on the farthest right-hand side, and it just disappears. However, you can't delete them completely. And we do that for a reason. We do it because people's minds change all the time. I might say, hey, you know what? I don't want to do Disneyland. 2 days later, oh my gosh, I just got so many Disneyland TikToks, and suddenly I actually do want that proposal back. Well, great. We can go to archived and we can just unarchive that. So again, just to repeat what I said, you can always archive these individual itineraries and proposals. But if you're really just don't need any of it anymore, you can go up to your entire trip, click archive, and then select delete, which I'm going to do because I need to clean up my trips list a little bit.
Yep. Don't we all, you know? I know we have the same issue over here we hear all the time, but I will say too, I love the labels. I've started utilizing that a lot to keep it a little clean, which is really handy.
Yes.
Okay, so it looks like we might be able to do one more. I feel so bad because there's so many good questions, everybody. But okay, just one more here is or what's the difference between a decision and a proposal? If you can just kind of high level
Ooh.
explain, because
Speaking of labels, let's go back to my 2026 label so we can pull this one up. So, decisions is great if you have options that they need to select. That's great for if you're offering three different sailings, three different all-inclusives, three different whatever it is. If you are offering maybe something within the proposal like accommodations, you are offering three different cabin accommodations. You should still do decisions because you can do an event decision. That's great. So we have two that we're working with different sailings for this example, or maybe accommodations, but you know the sailing. Now, here's the fun part. Maybe you just know this traveler so well. You know the sailing they want to go with. They told you the cabin they want to go with. They are a loyal repeat client. Amazing. What you can do, and I'm just going in here, you can click share, get the link. We'll copy that web link together and paste that in. Your traveler has the option to approve the proposal. When you send it directly as a proposal, they will just have this option and you can connect this to a form of your choosing. And so it's very similar to decisions. It's really that if they don't need to select an option, if they don't need to choose from multiple things, and it's really just you needing their sign off, go ahead, just send it as a single proposal. But we provide those three different options because every traveler's situation is going to be different. So see which one's going to work the best for you. I love decisions though, because more than likely they're going to need to make a decision on something.
for sure. And it's nice that there's so much flexibility there. Also, one more thing to call out with all those different options. If you get to that and you're like, wait, how did she do that again? Don't forget to check out that support center. Bonnie, if you could just quickly show in when you're in your account how you can access the support center, that'd be really good.
Yes. So, one, you might be seeing this. This is our chat. You can always chat us live from within there. Highly recommend going to our support center. And I did that rather quick. It's just that learn button up at the top right of your name by your account. And from here, you can see all of the different resources. If you are a self-learner, check out our on-demand courses, check out our different certification programs, getting started guide. If you're someone who wants to read through the material, FAQs is a great one. If you are the one who needs to focus on your community, join the community. We have a button right there that will take you there. But we have a lot of different resources. We are constantly adding to this. So let us know if you just need some help figuring out which resource you should look at first. You can always send us a chat, send us an email, and we can go ahead and do that for you. Now, I know we are right at time. Last thing that I wanted to say, because I saw a lot of people were asking about customized titles when it comes to adding your suggestions on. Just super quick, I'm going into this first one. If you are someone who wants to add those suggestions into a dedicated spot, here's what you would want to do. Three dots up here at the top left, click that new info section. This is just a blank section that you can customize that title. Just click right into it where you see that yellow highlight. You could say optional add-ons. Throw in a little information text that says, hey, no pressure. Go ahead, take a look at these, book them if you want, or have me book them for you. It's up to you. add in your tours through here. If you're pulling it in from your library or if you want to drag and drop any of your tours into that section, you can do that. That's a little bit more of a level 2 item. So if you're just beginning, maybe wait on that, but you can always reach out to us when you're ready. But thought I'd throw that in there because I knew some people wanted to see that done really quick. But
Yeah.
I'll stop sharing my screen. Guys, you were amazing. I know that these ones go long. It's hard to make education fun, but I hope you had some fun, that you learned something new, and we can't say thank you enough for joining us today.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Bonnie. This is
Of
incredible.
course.
And don't forget, everyone, stay tuned. We have lots more webinars coming. A
Maybe a
lot of really
podcast
good
episode
ones.
coming?
Podcast
Maybe?
episode coming. Everybody stay tuned. Just saying. We've got a lot of content coming down the pipe right now. So very exciting.
Exciting, but awesome. Have a great day, everyone, and stay warm out there. See ya.
Yes. See ya.